Yes, I purchased a car online and for out of state for that matter. I've always wanted a Porsche 911, so I settled in to a 991 Carrera 4. I like the looks of the wide body. There it is, already listed as sold from the site. I'm going to take you through my journey and let you know if it was a dream or a nightmare. Before we go through this trip together, don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to dig deeper into this car, and there are a lot of other random reviews and how-tos on this channel. Okay, let's go. So the last few months I've had the car bug bad and kept looking on AutoTrader, Cars.com, and other sites for different Porsche 911s. I was looking at older water-cooled and newer ones and just feeding my car fever. I came across a 2014 C4. As I mentioned, I like the Carrera 4's wide body, like in this pic, and I wanted a stick shift, more fun, and no one else will want to drive it, hopefully. The price seemed great, so I texted the sales guy at the dealer a bunch of questions and asked the salesperson to send me more pics, preferably ones that had damage or showed marks. Some of the pics looked good and some were questionable, but man, the price seemed great. I thought the deal can't be that good. It was at Carmax, which just seemed like one of those big used car dealerships. Man, also, this thing was in Colorado, and I live in California. But it was driving me nuts. Is this the deal of the century or a play for a sucker? Anyway, I'm currently driving to the airport and my flight is going to take me from California to Colorado. I booked a one-way ticket and I'm going to use my flight mileage and hotel points, so it shouldn't cost me much. My flight goes from California to Utah, then into Denver at midnight. I took an Uber to my hotel from the airport close to the dealership. This cost me $70. This room will definitely do. If I buy this car, I'm going to need a lot of sleep for the 15-hour drive back. I found out what these were for. There was so much noise in the hotel, I didn't get much sleep. I should have used them. Anyhow, I left my room, and Colorado was a bit chilly, below freezing at night, but not bad at 40 degrees during the day. I'm trying to be positive. I figure this works in my favor. Let's see how the car acts with a cold start. Had my free breakfast and called Uber, who arrived in about 5 minutes. He was a nice enough fella. If he only knew this dummy is looking to buy a Porsche online to drive back to California. But I wasn't going to tell him. It was about a 10-minute drive, about $7. I was getting concerned my future car is going to have rust and icicles scratching the paint. The sales guy said there was no rust on the car, but come on, in Colorado? And the Carfax said it came from Pennsylvania. Who knows how this thing got to Colorado? The history was a concern, but what a deal. So I got to the dealership early, mainly because I couldn't sleep, and I can check this out without the sales dude around. Here she is, freezing in the elements, suffering like every other car. But man, first impression, she looks good. But looks are deceiving. Let's see what she looks like under the makeup. She was unlocked and I climbed in to open the glove box. Looks like she went through some tests and passed. That was a positive sign. Wait, this car was in Cali? I knew through Carfax she was in Pennsylvania. She's got some history with some mystery. The mileage is still reasonable with it being a 2014 with 31,000 miles, and all the manuals are still in the glove. Okay, let's take a look at the front. Dusty as hell, and this isn't even snapped in place. The battery looks new, and everything is in place, but just dirty. As I was looking over the car, I didn't see any rust, but I did find some more information. Carmax gives a 90-day warranty or 4,000 miles on this car and a 7-day return policy. That seems legit. It was getting too cold, and I decided to sit in the office waiting for the salesperson, more comfortable checking her out with me on the inside. He arrived and we gave her the old cold start, and this 991 started right up and sounded good. I checked out everything else and did the test drive. I couldn't find anything wrong. I pulled the trigger and wrote a check. Carmax opened at 10. I was out of there around 11:30. There's the sales guy on his knees putting on the temporary plates. Here we go. We're just purring up this grade. She better treat me good. We got a 15-hour drive together. Nice views through Colorado so far. Look at this guy. He's got his Targa top off. It's as cold as heck outside. Getting out of Colorado is a straight shot on the I-70. Some location had crazy rock formations. I was really enjoying the ride. So far so good, and I'm not tired yet. Here you go. This is what I was expecting, some nothingness. I did read on the forums that the 911 doesn't have that long of range. My tank wasn't full and I was curious about the mileage I'd get and how many times I'd have to fill this thing up. The readout said I was getting 28 miles per the gallon, which I think is pretty good. Okay, I'm officially out in the middle of friggin' nowhere. I was getting nervous on the gas situation. It's time to fuel her up. The gas station attendant said I was still in Colorado. Man, it's been several hours being on the road. I think under his breath, he also said, "City boy," but I must have misheard him. This area was neat between these two mountains. But back to more of the same. Check these rock formations out. When you have nothing to do but drive, these are exciting. Finally made it to Utah and there was a lot of uphill grades, but my girl Porsche was still purring. Then things got interesting. I started to lose tire pressure in my driver's side rear tire. I must have run over something, but I kept refilling the tire with air and keeping an eye on the gauge. It was a slow leak. I was out in the middle of nowhere with no cell phone coverage. I started feeling okay because I was seeing lights. I ended up putting tire foam in and it held the tire pressure. But at one stop, the oil gauge came on and said the car has too much oil in it. What the hell? Porsche has started to become a bitch. I decided to keep pushing ahead. At this time, it's around 11 p.m. It's not like I can pull over to a repair shop. As you can see, I made it to Vegas. Another 5 hours to go. Being on the road for 10 hours and I wasn't that tired, maybe because the fear of being stranded with a flat or a ruined engine. I needed to make a bio break and get gas. I was getting over 400 miles on a tank, which I thought was pretty good. Right outside of Vegas, the friggin' largest gas convenience store you've ever seen. Even Bigfoot can't move from amazement. Yeah, and a whole section for slot machines, which is a must-have. Porsche is drinking away. The oil light is still on, but says I can drive, and the tire is holding pressure. Maybe she was just messing with me to see what I'm made of. I started to think the love affair was back on. And she does look good. She's a little dirty, but look at that sweet rear end. Okay, back on the road. Things are holding and are okay. We'll be home in a few hours to show her where she'll be sleeping. Definitely not in the cold outside in Colorado. Well, we made it and she seems happy. I do have to take care of that tire leak and the oil issue. Carmax mentioned they put their cars through a 100 or so point inspection, which includes the oil change. They obviously messed up and put too much oil in mine. I'm going to change the oil and take the rear off to check the condition of the air filter. I'll share these results. Before I go, I do want to say I have no affiliation or received any money from CarMax. I'm just a guy that felt like he found a deal online and purchased from them. Would I do it again? Maybe. If I got stranded, this would have been a disaster, but I didn't, so far so good. Let's see what she looks like when I take a closer look.